What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video I want to talk to you about how I updated my DIY tinted sunscreen routine. If you all are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you've already hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But for many people who are already on my channel, you may have already seen my very first DIY tinted sunscreen video, and I'll make sure I leave that linked right here above. But since I originally recorded that video, I did get some tips and tricks on how I can improve on my routine. I am someone who's always trying to improve my skincare and my makeup routine, so all tips and tricks are welcome. And one of the things that I did speak on, but I did not go into detail on, was the fact that sunscreen is something that needs to be held in an opaque or dark glass bottle. It's not something that you want to have exposed to air and the elements because it can degrade the product and make it either A, not as effective as possibly, and in some cases I heard it can even potentially make it harmful. But in that previous video, I talked about how many times I would take a foundation bottle that's about to run dry and just fill it up with sunscreen to create my own tinted sunscreen. But over the years, I started to notice that it never became an exact recipe. It was always just fill the bottle up and keep it moving. And I like certain foundations better than others, but I wanted to be able to sit down and say, Torrence, this is the recipe you like to follow. These are the things that you use the most. Why not continue to do that? But with us already being in spring, I want to try to get everything down pat before summer gets here, because you do not want to wait till the last minute to get into sun protection. So to come up with the perfect recipe, I knew for sure I was going to be using my favorite sunscreen. This is the Paula's Choice Extra Care Non-Greasy Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum SPF 50 for face and body. Absolutely love it. This isn't the same bottle, but this is the same sunscreen I used in my original video. I wear it every single day. My co-workers will tell you, before it's time to leave for work, I am racing to the bathroom to make sure I put some of this on. And for complexion, I knew I needed to mix this, but I wasn't sure exactly which foundation would get it going, and I'm like, okay, stick to what you know and stick to the brands you love. For complexion, I truly believe, just from my experience, there isn't a brand out there that matches me quite like Nars. I just absolutely love them. The very first foundation I ever tried from them was the Nars All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. Absolutely love her. One, she's full coverage, honey. She's full coverage. So the fact that I knew I was going to dilute the product, meaning I want as much coverage as I can possibly get from my foundation. Whether I dilute it with this or this, it's still going to be diluted, but this is going to offer me way more coverage, so she's what I'm going to go with. Not only that, this has the mattest finish of them all. If you're someone who has extremely dry skin, you may want to go in with a dewy hydrating foundation, but because I have extremely oily skin, I need something that's going to help mattify so I can use as little powder as possible. So these two became my match. My problem then was, what are going to be the ratios? I'm not 100% sure, and let me tell you, honey, I figured it out on the very first try. I've tried this out with different ratios, and my absolute favorite is 1 part foundation, 2 part sunscreen. At first, I was going to go in and do a 50-50 mixture, but then I remembered the sunscreen needs 1 up on the foundation because we're doing 1 part for coverage, 1 part for sun protection, but then I realized the sun protection is a little more important, so we're going to add an extra little scoop for that. So 2 parts, 1 part, put them in a bottle, they was good to go. Once I realized which ratios I wanted to use, I made sure I did not store this in a clear bottle because I did not want it to degrade the power of my sunscreen over time. And a friend recently gave me these. These are amber colored glass bottles, and I did some research, and at first I was going to get the blue ones. I personally was going to buy blue ones, but then my friend stopped me because she kept telling me blue bottles are not as effective as amber bottles. But I'm like, but the blue ones are so much prettier. Rihanna has her fan club and they are called the Navy. I wear blue a little more often, honey. It's going to match with everything. She kept telling me, hold off. She was going to do a little research. And then she surprised me with these and with the information that amber bottles are more protective than the blue bottles. And so I'm sitting back like, you know what? You right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and give it to you. So I just want to say one, thank you, Shanice, for these. I absolutely love the bottles. And what I was able to do was put all of my sunscreen in this bottle here. I am someone who usually tries to keep a food scale around. I love, love, love miniature food scales to mix and match different powders. If I buy a loose powder and realize it's a little light or a little dark, I can always go in with another powder if I just mix them together and put them in a container. So what I did was just take an empty bottle like this. I put it on top of the food scale and zeroed it out. I found out that these were 1 ounce bottles, and that usually equates to around 28 grams. And so I was scared, but I went in and said, you know what, Torrence, we're gonna do this with 30 grams. So I first went in, took my sunscreen, and measured 10 grams while this was on the scale to make sure that I got it exact. Then I went in, put 10 grams of my full coverage foundation. If you're someone who wants less coverage, you can use a medium coverage or a lightweight coverage, but I wanted to try to get as much pigment as possible. So we went in and did this one. Once we had our 20 grams in there, I went back in and topped it off with 10 more grams of sunscreen. I know I could have went in initially and just did the full 20 grams of sunscreen, but just to make mixing a little easier on myself, I did not want all the pigment stuck at the bottom. So I did 10 sunscreen, 10 foundation, 10 sunscreen. We put the cap back on, squeezed it up, and I shook this thing for at least a good 5-10 minutes just to make sure everything was mixed up. And when I used it this morning, the color came out clear. There weren't any streaks or anything. But with sunscreen, you always want to shake your bottle up before each and every single use. And I want to go ahead and just show you all what the color looks like on this, because I'm telling you, you would think diluting a foundation would not give you coverage, but I'm telling you, honey, look at this here. I probably put way too much down, but this is just one pump. And you can see just how strong and how vivid that color is. From a distance, you might honestly think that that's just a foundation, but I'm telling you, she shears out beautifully. I want to try to show you by just smearing it right here on the bottom half of my hand. You can see right here just how sheer this can become if you go ahead and you blend it out. But if you just leave it on nice and thick like this at the top, you can see where it looks like it's going to be a full coverage foundation still, but I can assure you it no longer is. Once you add that sunscreen, it is diluted. And just based off the back of my hand, that looks like that is going to be a fabulous color. From certain angles, you can see where we have that foundation there. But like if I just held my hand like this and didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't even know that that product was there. Before we go any further and I show you exactly which primer I decided to use, I want to go ahead, sneak away, and wash my fingers one last time. If for any reason you like to just keep your makeup routine extremely simple, you can go in and just use this by itself. I don't necessarily see this as a sunscreen. I put it with my foundations simply because that's how I use it. Anytime I want to use this strictly as skincare and not makeup, I want to go in and layer other products with it, because I've gone in and diluted my sunscreen. So she's no longer SPF 50, and because I'm not an expert in skincare ingredients, I don't like to go in and assume that I know exactly how much I've broken down the sunscreen and what my ratios are. I like to believe that because this was once SPF 30 and it's still 2/3 of that bottle is that maybe you would bring that down and say, okay, it's still around an SPF 30. But I don't want to hold nobody to that. I don't want to give out wrong information. And right now I am wearing this product on the face. You all will get to see me apply that with bare skin. I want to make sure anytime I step out, I am getting at least my SPF 30. So for primer today, we are going to make sure we use one that has an SPF 30. And this is the Paula's Choice Smoothing Primer Serum. Absolutely love this bad boy. If you have never tried it, I truly recommend it. 1, it's a makeup primer. 2, it has your SPF 30. So if for any reason this is all I go in and wear, I already know I'm protected. But to know we already got you covered, and we're gonna seal it in with an SPF powder, because bareMinerals got us covered on that, honey, you can't tell me nothing about this routine. Although bareMinerals no longer sells this particular powder that has SPF in it, they do have a new one, and I have that one on the way right now. It's just that When I first got into makeup, bareMinerals was one of the very first brands that I tried. So I am never, ever, ever going to get rid of this powder here. And I just cannot wait to show you all exactly how to achieve this look. It's something I truly wear more often than any other routine. I love my full faces, but as someone who works for a living, every day there isn't time for that. And sometimes you just may get that call where, hey, they happen to sell that blah, blah, blah. You want to get on it? Baby, I need to get there fast. If doing a full face ain't enough time. Slapping this on takes just as much time as my sunscreen. And guess what? It don't matter the situation. If it's not life-threatening, I got to get out the house right now, you're going to have to give me that 15 minutes to put my makeup on or my sunscreen because, honey, we not coming out without it. But if you all really think this look is very flattering and you would like to know exactly how I achieved it, just continue to watch. As with every tutorial, I'll make sure I leave any and all tools and products used today in the description bar below. Because I've gone in and diluted my product with the highest level of SPF protection, I want to go back in and layer as many different sunscreen products as I can to get the highest protection for my skin. So we're going to start off with primer. I know primer is not essential for makeup, but I personally find that it does boost the look and the longevity of my makeup. So I'm going to do the same thing with my sunscreen products. So we're going to go ahead and use this first. I believe SPF 30 is the minimum daily recommended amount. So to know we have this to start things off is going to be beautiful. And I said in my previous video, my favorite thing about this primer is the fact that it's clear. It's not white like most sunscreens. And I know I have a lot of this here, honey. You do not need that much. But I am someone who is truly worried about this being just a sunscreen, not necessarily a primer. And one of the beautiful things I like about this one is I can wear this around the eye area. Many sunscreens do not allow me to do so without causing irritation. And so the fact that this one does it means I'm going to go in and do my eyes as well. And I forgot to mention before we got started here, the only thing I have on my skin is lip balm. Wanted to make sure we did this tutorial completely makeup free so you all can get a realistic look of exactly how this is going to apply. I like to make sure I catch everything. You also want to try to get your ears whenever you are wearing SPF. I may not always do it with the makeup products, but with sunscreen, it is essential, honey. And my main concern, once again, is right here, because normally I would not put SPF in those areas. And this little acne scar here, honey, she's the biggest reason we're doing this, because we do not want that to get any darker while it's healing. Okay, and as you can see, just this product alone creates a nice glow on the skin. It's giving us our SPF protection. But before we go any further, I want to slip away and go wash my fingers. Back from washing my fingers, and I'm telling you, just this alone has the skin looking nice and soft and filtered. On camera, it just creates a nice glow, but in person, I can see where it slightly diminished the look of my pores. They aren't completely gone, but we're not expecting that today. Next, we're gonna go in with our Tinted Sunscreen. I absolutely love the fact that these came with a pump bottle. More than likely, I would usually just squeeze it right here on the back of the hand, but because I just got through washing my fingers, I'm gonna go ahead and use this affordable foundation brush. I've always used this for my tinted sunscreens and never knew exactly what the name of this brush is. This is the Wet n Wild foundation brush, and I believe this brush only ranges between $1 and $3. Tell you, you gotta grab you one if you just need something quick, fast, and affordable. Although I do find that it may be a little more difficult to clean than the average brush because she's so affordable, we're not getting rid of her. And just to make my job easier, I'm just gonna take this and pump this directly onto the foundation brush. And just to show you what this color looks like, honey, check this out. I'm gonna take and just apply it on one side of the face so we can see what kind of coverage we get from this. This is just one pump, and you all can see how at first she looks thick, she looks heavy, but I'm telling you, because she has that sunscreen in there, she is going to blend out and give us just enough coverage for this to match my complexion. And because I am someone who truly does enjoy a full coverage, I'm not mad at it. But I want to do this on half the face just so you all can see what the color match looks like and what the coverage level is like. At first I did have this mirror right here in my hand I was going to use to get this to look beautiful, but then I just thought about it. We're not doing a full face of makeup where we're worried about truly every area being covered in brush strokes and things like that. This is all about sun protection. And that one pump, you see, when I first put it on, you could tell the color and the coverage it was offering. Although the foundation we used was full coverage, because it has been diluted, it does not offer full coverage anymore. But I would be lying if I told you this doesn't seem like a, I would say like a weak medium, a very strong light coverage. And look at this, I have not done the neck yet. Actually, let me take and put a little bit. I'm going to take one more pump, come down this way, just so you all can see what that looks like. Bring this up a little bit further. I want to try to get a second layer around my 5 o'clock shadow area just to give me a little more coverage there. Alright, and I'm not going to take this all the way down the neck, but I do want it to at least come down far enough where it's not going to mess up my t-shirt. Okay, and you all just saw me apply this in real time. I'm going to make sure not to cut or edit that part for the first half, but I want you to just look at this. This is the one side of my face that is completely clear. All we have is the primer. This side has my tinted sunscreen. You can still see a glow on the skin. The only reason my imperfections on this side have been covered is because I did go in with a second layer right here in my 5 o'clock shadow area. But looking straight forward, you can see just how much like skin this is coming off as. When you find a product that has your shade, as well as something that you're not just thoroughly taking on, I probably did put on a little more than the average person. But one, I like my coverage, and two, I like my sun protection. So what I'm going to do now is jump ahead, finish the other side of the face, and I'll be back to show you all the final step. Honey, we are back, and look at the skin, honey. This, to me, is exactly what I love and use on an everyday basis, especially after an acne breakout, honey. When I know I need to be laying off the makeup and giving my skin time to rest, but I know I feel a little more comfortable with an even complexion and sun protection when I step out. Oh yeah, honey, I'm loving this. If this were something where I was just heading out the door, just going to take out trash and running a quick errand or something like that, I would be good just leaving it like this. More than likely, I know I'm not going to touch my face, so I'm not worried about transfer. But because I'm headed to work right now, we need this to last a little bit longer. For me personally, almost any and every powder would work for this because we've already put on 2 layers of sun protection. But I figured why not go in and put on that 3rd layer just to make sure of everything. And my favorite mineral powder right now is still the bareMinerals 5-in-1 BB Advanced Performance Mineral Veil. This one has an SPF of 20, and this was a limited edition one. I still have it, and personally, I don't think I'm ever going to use the last of it. When it gets very low, I'll probably just put it to the side. But bareMinerals does carry a new SPF powder. I have that one on the way. Even though this video isn't going to go up till Wednesday, I believe it is going to be on the Ultra 21 Days of Beauty the day before on that Tuesday. So I may not have time to give you all that information. I may just make a Facebook and Instagram post about it. But I'm going to go ahead and use this one because I already have it. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit into this container here. I love using glass coasters anytime I need a product that I need to separate. I know bareMinerals likes to tell you, tap it into the cap. But for me, I find I make a mess doing that. And we're going to use our bareMinerals Flawless Face Brush. I did not know if they still sold this brush or not, but I found out they still do. And I just like it because I think this may be the oldest natural hair brush in my makeup collection, or at least for face brushes. So what I want to do is just go in and swirl this brush all the way around. I want to try to pick up as much product as possible. Tap that off. And before I go in and set, the first thing I want to do is just do one final swipe underneath each eye just to make sure no product has settled. It didn't appear to, but I want to just be sure of that. First thing is looking straight up and swooping underneath the eyes to set that area. I want to make sure I set my makeup right here in the center of the face. And we're going to do this all over, but my first area that I wanted to make sure that I got was underneath the eyes. Next, I want to do on top because I have hooded lids. And baby, I get more creasing on top of the eyelid than underneath like most people. Just sweep that in. We're not trying to leave a heavy amount of product anywhere. We just barely want to set this because this is going to ensure that we get to keep that glow. If we were to go in and bake, I promise you, honey, this will come off looking cakey and it will remove that dewiness we have going on. But just a light layer of powder is going to help give us a little more longevity out of this. And it's not going to make this product transfer proof, but it is going to help reduce the amount of product that you're going to lose with transfer. Because don't forget, honey, even with sunscreen, we still want to make sure we are wearing our mask. So some of this will come off, but this will make it easier to last all day. And funny thing is, I remember when I first got this brush, I used to tell myself this was not the softest brush in the world. But now that I've had it for quite a few years, washed and conditioned this brush many times over the years, I truly feel as if this brush is softer now than it was when I bought it. And that's usually the reverse situation. Most brushes seem to get harder and scratchier with time. Alright you guys, now that we have that on, the one thing I know you can see, because I can see it too, is I have a little bit of excess powder right here from when I went in and set that. You know I can't walk out the house looking like that. So the last thing I want to do is just take a little bit of setting spray. You can use any setting or finishing spray that you would like. And just to make sure that this continues to give me a nice, beautiful glow, what I'm going to do is go in with some MAC Fix Plus, and we're just going to spray this all over the face very lightly because we do not want to risk disturbing this. And I am only really concerned about spraying it right here in the under eye area just to make sure that it doesn't look dry there. I'm not really worried about the rest of the face. So I'm going to get me a fan. I'm going to spray our Fix Plus to give us a glowy dew. And I want to just go in and make sure I look and spray those just barely enough to help remove that look there. Ooh, almost forgot my phrase, honey. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. And honey, I'm going to give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all a full face view of things because I'm telling you all, honey, this look here is so simple and so fast. It is easily the routine I follow the absolute most. On those days where I just truly do not feel like doing anything with my makeup. Like I don't want to do mascara, I don't want to do brows, I don't want to do nothing. This is a routine I know I can follow because even on a no makeup day, I am still going to do my skincare, honey. Sunscreen is for any day and every day. So to know I can put a little bit of color to this and get a look like this, 99% of the time when I'm wearing this, most people truly don't even believe I'm wearing makeup. Off camera, the only thing I did was take me a little cheap e.l.f. spoolie and brush my brows all the way up so that they look as full as possible. I didn't even add any product, not even brow gel, because I want things to look natural. And just because the skin was giving me such a glow, my lip balm just wasn't quite doing it the same way. So I did go in and add a little Fenty Glow by Rihanna. That's it. I just wanted my lips to shine the way my complexion does, simply because lips are my favorite part of the body. But I'm telling you, honey, getting up and walking out the door like this, I could tell any and everybody I'm wearing nothing but gloss. And unless you really know me or know your makeup, you would probably believe me. But I hope you all truly did enjoy this tutorial. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, I'm not 100% sure of what that comment is, but I'm gonna make sure I go back to my old video and leave a comment letting that person know that I did update this routine. Because I'm telling you all, I am not a skincare expert. I am just someone who has issues with my skin and want to learn as much as possible. And it's routines like this that I just continue to build and grow with every time. If for any reason you saw a flaw in my current routine, I promise you I would not be offended if you just leave me a comment down below letting me know exactly what tips and tricks you may have and exactly what I can do to improve my own routine. I just want my channel to be somewhere where I can be open, honest, and share the information I have. So I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and head off to work. I truly do hope you all are enjoying my content and enjoying this video. With April coming up, I will be making sure I post my skincare routine for that. It's just lately I have been avoiding the makeup, if you all can tell. It's just that until this heals, I really want to try to only stick with products that I know and love. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, all of these products I've been using for at least a good, what, 2-3 years, if not longer. I think the newest thing in this whole routine would be just this primer and this brush, but the rest of these products I've been loved, and it's nothing else to say. It's just, this look is nice, the video is nice, the love and support that you all have been showing my channel over the past few weeks have been nice, and I just can't wait to get the feedback from this video. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.